How have you stayed relevant over the past 3-4 years at this point?
Damn, I didn't even think about how long it's been until you just said it. The majority of my money that I'm going to make over the next probably 10 years will be from info. And I don't even think it's going to be from my info. I don't think it's going to be from Cardinal Copy MBA. I think like I've just learned so much over the last couple of years of how these businesses work. And I know that they're not going out of style. People are going to continue buying info, whether it's from me or you or from somebody else. It's always going to be a thing that they will buy. There's stuff that you'd think would get saturated and start to die out. Like offers from like back in 2020, 2021 that you'd think there's no way that this could continue to make money forever. And the business is good. So it continues to make money.
Where I want to start is in this fucking info space. It's very common for guys to come in, make a bit of money, and then vanish forever. How have you stayed relevant over the past 3-4 years at this point?
Damn, I didn't even think about how long it's been until you just said it. But yeah, bro, it's been a minute. I started making TikToks like beginning of 2022. And dude, I don't know. So first of all, I can't really say I've stayed relevant. I think like there's definitely been some personalities that have come in and just dominated. And that's kind of how like I guess the online like influencer space goes. But at one point in time, I was kind of like an influencer with a business. And I think the reason why we've had longevity is like now I'm like a business guy who has a small audience online that kind of helps the business. But I think, and you might agree with this, a lot of the guys who are coming in and doing well with info, they don't have the business fundamentals down. Like any business can last for years. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff that you'd think would get saturated and start to die out. Like offers from like back in 2020, 2021 that like you'd think like, all right, there's no way that this could continue to make money forever. And the business is good. So it continues to make money. But I'm seeing a lot of people these days who are like audience first, business second. And I think that's where a lot of these guys like start to fail really quickly.
Yeah, man. Let's double tap on that because the perfect example of a offer that's stuck around if the business owner is good is fitness, right? Fitness is like fucking eat chicken, go to the gym, right? It's not that complicated. But people that are strong business owners and not content creators smash it. They really, really do smash it. So go deeper on that because that's one observation I did make of you, which is like when you're like a TikTok kid, you're obviously just a TikTok kid. But now you've done so much other shit because you learned the mechanics of how to run an info business at a high level.
Yeah, man. Well, so I didn't always, you know, I wasn't always like a business guy. Like at first, that's like I said, I was a content creator. But I think, I don't know. I'm an odd case, bro. I think I'm a weird one to study because like I'm not a natural entrepreneur. I've never really been that. Like, I don't know if you have guys on here that were like doing lemonade stands when they were 9 years old. Like I'm not that guy. Like I learned kind of late. And I think what I found was like back in 2023 when I launched what I'm doing now, I realized it's a printer. And I didn't ever want anything to like dip down. I think that this is something that can do tens of millions of dollars. It already kind of has, you know what I mean? So I kind of stumbled upon it and kind of got lucky. And I realized like, okay, if I want this to last, you know, as long as I need it to, then like I need to develop real business skills that can apply pretty much anywhere. And so that's kind of been like the story of actually most of this year. I can't believe we're already in September. It's just flying by. But like I was I'm usually a bit of I like to go out. I'm usually a partier. But on New Year's like going into this year, I got a hotel room in Toronto and I ordered a pizza. I think I watched a movie and then I just for like from 11 o'clock in December to like 2 o'clock in the morning in January, I just like journaled of like all the stuff that I wanted to do this year. I like said a little prayer at midnight and I just like I knew that this was going to be like a business year for me. Like I wanted to learn a ton. I had to learn a ton. And I heard, do you follow Ruby on Twitter?
No, who is it?
22 or something like that. He had a tweet a long time ago that stuck with me where it's like what you do when you cross over from like one year to another is like it's very spiritual, it's very symbolic. You know what I mean? So if you cross over, if you're drunk as shit going into New Year's Day, then I mean that's gonna be basically like what the year is for you. But I wanted it to be super focused, super locked in. So yeah, I was just like zen as hell in my hotel room, scheming, plotting, and so I mean now we're here. We've this is by far our best year. I don't think um yeah, I don't think I even expected it. Like 2023 was awesome, 2024 was good, but this is like it's showing that been working my ass off, man.
Before we move any further, I have one short question to ask you. Have you been enjoying these episodes so far? Because if you have, I would truly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel to help more business owners grow their online business today.
What was on your goals for the year, and then what have you achieved so far for this year?
Well, obviously we had revenue goals and we've hit that. But more so it was just like I really wanted to figure out paid ads. I really wanted to like have that in my back pocket, which like at this point I kind of do. Like we have a sick media buyer on Copy MBA who's ripping, but through him I've learned a lot. But like I wanted to sort of prove to myself that like I could do this multiple times if I had to. Like again, one thing that info guys always kind of stress about is like, is this the only business I'll ever have that makes this much money? I wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to be a thing. So I wanted to learn skills that would make me money, whether I had 500K on TikTok or no social media at all. So that was the main sort of overarching thing. And it was mostly just a feeling too. Like I just wanted to feel like I was locked in because 2024 I was not, bro. I fucked up for the whole year.
But dude, it's part of your evolution too, because like you're also still just super fucking young, right? It's not like many people your age are going to be degens in other aspects of life. So just to give a bit of context, man. I'm 29. I fucking finished university at 23. Like I literally finished university at 23, man, and I was like in that mode. And then I got into the space in 2020. I was 24, but again, I didn't get into space doing things. I was creating content, creating podcasts, and then I learned the mechanics over the years. Like, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that, right? So there can be that slippage, providing you have this year of being like super locked in, right, and making those quantum leaps. You made a very good point about these info cowboys feeling it's like scarcity, right? They have complete scarcity because they think, oh fuck, I can't repeat this. Maybe they had something go viral on TikTok. Maybe they just did something to get attention, to garner attention. Why do you think they have that scarcity mindset?
I mean, you see it in real time. Like it's a learned thing, right? Where you like a lot of these info guys, and I've been through this too, where you have like slow seasons because like you can't get anything to get any views on any social media. You know what I mean? Like you're making content, trying to make money, and that's when it starts to like do like a downward spiral. And I'm seeing guys, I think I tweeted this as well. I'm seeing guys who I've heard rumors are not exactly killing it right now. And dude, you can just tell they're like they're just every video they post is like they're trying to desperately fill their calendar. And so like you go through it. Like at first you launch and you think like, man, this is awesome. I'm gonna make this much money forever. And then you see your first little slowdown and you're like, oh shit, like it's over, like we're done. And then it comes back, and then it's, oh, we're back. I'm rich again. Everything's great. And then it slows down again. You need to go through like probably 5 or 6 of those cycles before you learn that like it's not permanent. You get like, you know what I mean?
Bro, but it's a skill though, right? Like if you're going through those down periods, and full transparency, I've kind of felt that too at times, whereby you do a push, you do a launch. Like we're running an event next week. We run the event. Afterwards, then there's like, you know what it's like? A great analogy. It's like the tide. The tide comes in, it's fucking great. The tide goes out, but knowing that the tide will come back in should give you peace, but it actually gives other people way more stress and anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, well, you said you're 29.
29.
All right. So you're like a mature entrepreneur. You kind of get it. But like a lot of these young guys, like if you're 22 years old, you start making 200 grand a month with whatever you're working on, you know what I mean? Drop shipping course. And, just the first thing came to mind. And you're like, all right, this is the goal. I'm going to make 200K a month for the rest of my life. And I don't need to invest it. I don't need to do anything different. I'm going to keep spending. I'm going to buy 2 Lambos in 2 of my favorite colors, depending on what, day I want. I want to drive the black one today. You know what I mean? And then like you go through this and then your first little dip and you're like, oh shit, like it's over. And some guys never recover too. There are guys that I think we both know where they've gone through that exact same thing and they never quite figure out like how to get back. Um, and like, yeah, I don't know. So again, this whole year has been sort of like trying to bulletproof that for myself. Cause like, dude, of course I've had scary slowdowns where I'm like, damn, like this is the last year I'll ever make money. But I feel like at this point, like I'm working on other stuff where it has nothing to do with my face. I'm not in it. It's not even make money online stuff. You know what I mean? Like I want to get out of that at some point too. Cause like I'm getting up there too, man. I'm 26. And like when I started doing this, I was 21 or 22 and it was cool. And I same sort of thing. I wanted to be a DJ. I just want to fuck around. But at this point now, like I'm on Zillow every night. We're looking at cribs in Boca. If you've never been, it's like north of Miami. It's like where all the suburbs are. And I'm just like, I'm thinking like, okay, in the next 2 years, I'm gonna have one of these, and like I'll probably be married by then, and then that girl's probably gonna have a baby in her. You know what I mean? Like I wanna get to that part where I'm like I'm secure, and I don't want to have to worry about like, did my TikTok do well? Am I gonna make 100 grand? I hate that. That was the worst part, bro. Like as a 30-year-old, I can't do that at 30, bro.
Dude, do you ever see that meme? And it's like, it's like creating Instagram reels or TikTok videos as a kid to impress adults to buy my adult program. It's so funny, dude. It's like a guy getting ready, like he's setting up his little ring lights and he's like getting ready to dance, and it's so that other men buy his program, and it just kind of epitomizes how like you kind of do have to evolve with it. And I think you made a great observation. Now, I'm not buying fucking houses in Boca, but the money that I made from like info and agency, which we still have to this day, I've been reinvesting that. So actually, full transparency, I was reinvesting that into like the market and all this kind of shit. And I was like, fuck that. And then I thought, okay, I want a bigger play. And that's when we started moving now into software. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put aside this cash. I'm going to just fucking think it's a sunk cost because I want to do something as well that's going to give me way more asymmetrical outsized returns. And I think what's interesting is obviously you've bought nice stuff and I've bought nice stuff too over the years, but it's not like you've burned all of your cash on the nice things so that you can't do anything else. I think that's a big part of the scarcity stuff too, right? Is you've spent the money that you've just fucking made without even paying IRS tax on it. And now you have to scramble to fix everything backwards.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know about you. I've gotten way less materialistic over the last like year, not even a year, bro. Probably like 8 months. And like now, like the thing that excites me is just like building a war chest. You know what I mean? Like by the time I'm, let's just say 30, like I want to be like truly untouchable. You know what I mean? Like 25 plus mil where I'm not done working, but I pretty much have everything I want, and I'm never going to be in a position where it's like, oh shit, like we got to start selling stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So
you need it.
yeah, exactly. I want choices here.
Let's double tap on like the building of the info, because I think the paid ad stuff is something that's wildly misunderstood by the content creator bros. And you know, you mentioned you were listening to my podcast with Ryan Clogg. So I met Ryan in London, and he kind of like broke my whole brain with this stuff, where he was like, I don't have a face to the brand. I don't even know the customers directly through social media. We just run paid ads and we figure that out. What was that shift for you, like mentally? And I saw your tweets on this, which is really good. Once you get over the mental block of ads, and then how did you scale it? How did you build info? And now you've got up to over $1 million a month. How do you do that, right? Because it's all economics.
It's funny you mentioned Ryan, because I started watching him probably around May, which was like maybe 2 or 3 months into like us feeling like, okay, we got a hold of ads. But he was saying a lot of stuff that made it easier for like the team and I to scale. So like Ryan actually was a huge help for that. But yeah, so everyone who's going from organic to paid will always start with this belief that paid ads won't work for me, because they probably tried it before. Like, okay, so here's how it goes. You have an organic offer. You're making $300K a month. You get approached by a growth operator, someone with an agency who's going to try and take rev share. And they're going to do a bunch of stuff for you. And at one point, they're going to say, like, let's just try ads. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to do a call funnel or a webinar or something like that. We're going to run ads to it. And they'll spend maybe $2,000 and then they'll decide, okay, this doesn't work for me because they won't get any leads, or the leads that they get won't be quality. And I used to be that guy too. We tried ads. We tried this low ticket funnel like last summer, and it just kind of shit the bed. Like, it was never profitable. It didn't do what we wanted it to do. And I was like, okay, well, ads just won't work for me. Like, this isn't just the type of offer, this isn't the type of offer that'll benefit from paid ads. And then I realized that was just dumb. And I started looking at all the other people who like kind of transitioned as well. Do you know Brooke Hiddink?
Yeah, man. I'm good friends with Brooke. I was with him in January. This is funny because these are like the real OGs. And dude, like, I've seen Brooke's fucking numbers. Like, he's literally done like 3 or 4 million on the front end a month.
No, he's real OG. Like, him and I, we started at the same time. Or, well, I think he was a couple months behind me. I remember seeing his stuff, and he was talking with his partner at the time, David, about how they were doing 300K a month, and I was like, what? And then
same, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, we both. Bear in mind, we both left our job at the same time. He left a lawyer job. I left a tech job. I was like doing some gay engineering thing, and at the same, like, I would literally say it was within 4 months of each other. We both left our job at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and he lives not lives, but he's from down the street from me.
And he's like, bro, this is the thing, right? He's married. I know this is such a side tangent, but he's married. He has a baby. I met him and his wife like when she, like 1 month out from her having the child in like January. So like, we're all pushing on, bro. You know, so you got to get the shit together a small bit.
So I got sidetracked there. So I remember, so Brooke was super active on Twitter and Instagram. He was slinging this high ticket e-commerce thing. And then he stopped posting, and I stopped hearing from him. He stopped tweeting. I was like, what happened to Brooke? And then I heard from somebody else that he's like all paid now, and he's doing like multiple millions a month. And I was like, oh shit. That was this, like, he was in the same position as me not too long ago. And then I would make all these excuses as for why it works for him and not for me. I was like, well, you know, like, his is higher ticket than mine. And like, you know, it inherently attracts like a more qualified audience compared to my stuff. And like, dude, all my customers are, you know, 18 to 22. Like, we don't want to target them on Facebook. They don't have money, whatever. All these dumb reasons. And then like something clicked, bro, like beginning of March of this year. And we just had a good batch of ads that we filmed that like just did what we needed it to do. And it was producing calls for us. And we were like, oh, wait. And we realized that not only was so we had traffic coming in, we were getting cheap calls. It was like $120 a call or something like that. I think some days it was down to like $90 a call, which is really good. And then we would mark all of these calls on our calendar for the closers. If it was an ads call, it would be red, just so we knew. And we started to realize that like all the red calls were actually better quality, and they were higher intent than the people that were coming from my organic. I was like, what? So let's double down on this. And I heard the same thing coming from another big offer owner who you definitely know who he is, but I won't name names because I don't think anyone knows his numbers. But at the time, he jumped from like 500K a month because he was mostly organic to $1 million a month in one single month. And I was like, oh shit. And then I talked to one of his closers. His closer said the same sort of thing where it's like, yeah, like the leads coming from paid are way better. Like, they're just more qualified. Because like on ads, like you can talk to exactly who you want. You know what I mean? Like on TikTok, it's people that are, first of all, on TikTok, they kind of look like me and they resonate with what I say or whatever. But like, and those are just people that naturally like want to invest in whatever I'm doing. But on ads, I can say like, if you have a job, if you're employed, you're American, you speak English, like I can get exactly who I want. If you make 60K a year and you want to do something different, like I can make those direct call outs, and like Meta notices that. And it started feeding us all these people who fit our exact criteria. And then scaling after that was kind of easy, bro. Because like I basically now I kind of have a business similar to Ryan's. Obviously, like my face is still a part of it, but I don't use Instagram or YouTube really, which used to be my biggest traffic channels. That used to be like how I would fill my calendar, but I don't use that to do that anymore. It's all middle of funnel. So like the only reason I post on Instagram and YouTube is so that people will see the ad, go to the profile or whatever, learn a little bit more. But like it's after they've already been introduced to me. Or if they've already booked a call and they need something to watch in the meantime, like that's why I have it. You know what I mean? It's not really to produce customers anymore. And then all it took for us to go from you know, $500,000 a month to $1 million last month was just like putting our nuts on the line and just dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars of spend into Facebook ads. And it was honestly, it's just math, man.
Yeah, it's bro mad. It's literally fucking info product bro mad. Fuck, I have so many questions this, man. But the biggest thing that I've seen over the past couple of months, because like we're doing more paid now as well, right? Now, not a couple 100,000 yet a month, but we're trying to move it up. I just had a podcast with Jeremy Haynes. If you wanna see someone get roasted in real time, Jeremy literally just ripped my ass open for like 45 minutes of the podcast. One of my team was like, "Do you want to include this?" And I was like, "Ah, fuck it, just leave it all in."
He's done that to, by the way.
But it's a
He
big.
does that to everybody. I've been on the business end of a Jeremy Haynes rant multiple times. Shit sucks. It's awful.
If you see my face in it, I'm sitting in the seat and I'm like red, bro. It was bad. But, you know, again, he's like a fucking G. And one thing that I've really recognized is all of these organic guys, it's like you actually are early to this in terms of that moving, that shift. Because it seems like to me that organic is becoming more of like a Hormozy style where it's like you never, ever, ever ask for anything, bro. Just be in the corner, just put out your content, don't ask for fucking thing. And then you're using paid then to actually do the ask. Because again, right, if someone sees your, let's say, Instagram reel, and then they've clicked on your page and they're within 180 days, then you can hit them with a retargeting ad. But organic behavior has changed as well. There's like this weird thing, right? I don't know. What's your observation on that?
Yeah, I think it's, I hate saying this word, but I believe it's getting far more saturated, bro. I like to say that nothing's saturated. And I think like it's true for some people. Like for good entrepreneurs, nothing's ever saturated. Like pretty much any good entrepreneur. Like if we consider dropshipping saturated or supplements more specifically saturated, some guy like Rob the Bank, who we both know, can come in and just start a supplement brand and destroy everybody. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean it's like saturated as in it can't be done, but there's just so much more noise, bro. And I talked about this with my buddy. So you know Ben, and then my marketer and our friend Sanjay. We were talking about how back in 2023 or 2022 when I started, you didn't have a ton of people that were selling stuff like this online. That was one of the reasons why like I did well on TikTok right away, was because like there weren't that many people who were like teaching money skills. They were learning e-commerce and they were learning day trading, crypto. That was kind of pretty much it. Like nobody else was really selling info on anything else. And so I was the first guy to come along to like not talk about any of those things and talk about services instead. And we had a low ticket Discord that we ran up to like over 100K a month just off TikTok. And it was like a $15 a month thing. You know what I mean? And so like back then, that was when it was really easy. And then again, in 2023, when we sort of like relaunched Copy MBA, like we got to 600 plus a month, like just doing a weekly webinar, all from TikTok, low ticket as well. And then upselling those people into a 4K coaching thing. That was it. Like that doesn't work anymore. Like there's so, and what I was saying was like all of those people that were doing course stuff back in 2022 and 2023, they taught all the people who are now doing courses today. So it's like we basically had kids, we multiplied. And now if there were 10 of us then, there's like 500 of us now. And then in 2 years from now, like when all the people who are selling courses today have a bunch of students, all those people are going to go on and create their own thing too. And then it's just, you know what I mean? Like there's just thousands of people who are selling stuff every single day. And it's hard to keep up with it as a consumer.
I even noticed that ourselves, man, and you probably noticed too, when your students will actually end up selling what you do, right? They'll talk like you, they'll resemble you, because your customers are a reflection of you, no matter what. But you'll see like they'll copy something because they just learned copywriting from you and they learned how to deliver from you. So you're like, oh, that's literally how I do something, which is fair, right? They've paid, they've learned, they're implementing what you've taught them. But it's like everyone becomes a role character of you in many ways. So something to be like cognizant of. I guess one thing that's unique about your scenario though is that when you're targeting a little bit of a younger demographic, what's generally like the price range of your programs? And then how does that compute into the ads, right? Because it's not like super high ticket. whereby you can have a shit ton of margin of error and you can kind of be a dumbass and still become profitable.
Are you an agency owner, coach, or consultant looking to scale your online business? At Volks, we help business owners scale their online business with content. We help them specifically build a high ticket offer, create content that turns into clients, and also help them with the sales process to make sure every single call that's booked in your calendar turns into a client. If you want to see more about exactly how we do this, hit the first link down below and watch a full free training on how smart entrepreneurs are building a business in 2025.
Yeah, so we don't target that age demo anymore at all. For like, they're sorry, I shouldn't say ever, but they're rarely good clients. They're really good students. Like a lot of times they just straight up don't do the work, and they don't have money. You know what I mean? So, and also like it's a weird cusp where it's like, if you're 21, you might have money, but if you're 19, you won't. So it's like if we start at 21, then like if we mess up the age targeting a little bit, then we're just like, I don't know. It's bad. Like it's a weird demo. It's not good. So we like 25 to 35. We like people that actually do have degrees, even though you don't need it. We want to work with people that have some sort of bachelor's just because it makes it easier for us. Like they already know how to learn, and also they've invested in education before, obviously. And people that have like decent jobs, like people that have worked with businesses before. Like one of our stars right now, she's ex Salesforce, and she makes like 45 grand a month doing copywriting, like AI copywriting. She's ripping, and it's partly because like she already knows the fundamentals of like what needs to be done. Like she understands sales, she understands marketing. It's easy for her. Same with this other guy, Owen Santos, who's like just a stud, bro, in everything he does. He used to be like an insurance. He was managing a team of door-to-door solar guys, and then the season ended, and then he was waiting on a license to start selling something else. It was like annuities or something like that. And he's like a true like 50, 60K a month sales guy. And he was bored and didn't want the money to stop. So he joined Copy MBA, only did it for 4 months. And then in that 4 months made like 95 grand or something like that. So like we want people who are going to be like top performers in everything they do. We don't want some kid who's like in high school or something like that wants to make their first $10 online. Like we don't want that. Like we want to we have a reputation, you know what I mean? Like we want to get people results. We want to make people real money. That's what makes us look good. And my dad has this saying. He says like, it's not his, but he said it to me. How you do anything is how you do everything. And if we take people who are like kind of losers and they've been poor their whole lives and they don't have, $5 to their name right now, they're probably not going to do well with copywriting. Like it's not going to change that quickly. Like they have more work to do outside of whatever they're working on. We want people who have already dominated pretty much in everything they've done so that they can come and do our thing and implement quickly and make a shit ton of money. And then we can use them as a case study. And then our pyramid scheme continues.
Yeah, because like those guys could technically do fucking anything, right? It's just they just ended up doing copywriting. I've noticed that too, man. 100%. It's like, and actually those are the guys that will be around forever, right? Back to your point about the info guys not thinking will they ever be able to make money again. It's the same equivalent. If someone who's super talented, they'll be able to do anything, fucking anything, put anything in front of them. So it's nearly the opposite. Now, tell me about how you actually convert these people. So you're running a call funnel for everything. Are you running the sales team yourself, or did you get like a sales manager or some shit?
No, we got a sales manager. Do you know Philip? Philip Cars? He's actually, okay, so kind of crazy story with him. Again, one of those A players that just like spawned out of nowhere. He was a kid in college. He joined one of my buddy's sales training programs, started as a setter, was a setter for him, and then we poached him. He was a setter for me, worked his way up, became top closer, dominated that, and then started just managing dialers. So at the beginning of 2024, we didn't have a dialer team. We were just like everything was a self-book. And then so he came on and started managing dialers and started producing like an extra couple $100,000 a month just from like having people hit up old leads and stuff like that, which we never had before. So that was crazy. And then
how the fuck were you doing that? Sorry, is that just when they book, or just previous you're just taking their phone number from ClickFunnels or some shit?
Yeah, people might opt in or they might apply and not book or something like that. And there's just like all these people in our CRM, we have like tens of thousands of contacts that haven't done anything. And so like he hired a couple of dialers to just go through and just hammer them basically and get them to convert. And so that made a huge difference. And then he started managing closers as well. And then beginning of this year, he stopped taking calls So now, yeah, so he's like a full-on killer. Like sometimes people are like, if you're gonna have a business of this size, like we're gonna do probably probably over 8 figures this year. And like you'd think that like not over 8 figures, we would do eight figures. But like you'd think that you need some sort of like corporate, sales manager guy who like went to Harvard and like, he's ex Facebook or something like that to manage a team like that. And like we just have like a 21-year-old savage who has like 5-figure testosterone running through his bloodstream. I think we got like 12 or 14 guys now. So yeah, so we got him, we have the media buyer, we have I think 9 people on our coaching team, like the product team, and then like 12 sales guys. And right now we're doing the call funnel, which gets the majority of spend. And then we have a webinar too. We do bi-weekly webinar.
Fuck, man. So how many calls you book in like a day?
Like 35 to 45.
Roughly.
Like on the
All from ads.
Yeah. That's on the calendar. So we'll book more than that. We cancel a bunch of them and people reschedule or whatever, but on the calendar every single day. Yeah. Minimum 30.
Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, so and that's just into a VSL funnel. So there's no setting.
Well, the setters are in there too. Like so the way it works is we don't have an opt-in on it. Uncle Jeremy has said that we don't do opt-ins. People who have money and are they protect their time. They don't like opt-ins. They don't want to fill out information just to watch a VSL. So we have hundreds of people a day who will watch it and apply, and they might select so on the type form, there's options where it's like it's 0 to 500 they can't invest, 500 to 2K they could do it, but it might be a split, and then 2 to 4K they can do it, and then 4 to 8K they want more help than like what we just offer from the inner circle. And so anybody who doesn't book directly on the calendar, which is a lot of people in the 0 to 500 and then 5 to 2K, those people get dialed. And a lot of times, like those people, they actually do have money. They just don't want to tell us about it. And so dialers that will get people that look unqualified on the type form, but they actually are. Or sometimes people will like actually say they are qualified, but they just won't get around to booking. And then so we'll just nudge them onto the calendar. And then they get super active after a webinar. So we'll do a webinar. We'll get like 5,000 people to register. We get like 2,400 people to show up. Not everybody converts. Obviously, not everyone books calls. So after that, they'll run through the list of everybody who showed up but didn't book, everybody who no-showed, everybody who registered. So like those dialers are working all the time. Like we always need dialers. We have, I think, just in dialers, I think it's 8 to 10 or something like that. I have no idea. But those guys are busy.
Man, this is fucking crazy. So when you're running the webinar funnels, are you going straight to a buy button or straight to a call funnel?
Call funnel. So they book off the webinar.
And then you're filling that up for like 3 or 4 days afterwards.
Yeah, rand. So we'll do it on Tuesday night. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, completely packed out. Sometimes we'll get some trickling on Saturday. But in those 3 days, like we have no calendar space. And then the closers.
For how many closers? 3 closers?
No, we have 5. So 3 main ones. 2 who are like more like junior closers. Like they're former dialers. So they're getting better. But not getting like tier 1 calls yet. And then we have 1 guy who will come in just for webby calls.
Bro, this is crazy. Like this is a huge operation, man.
Honestly, dude, it's crazy to think about because it doesn't feel like that. Like I actually just sent like a big, because today's the 1st, right? Yeah. So last night was August 31st, and like that was again our first 7-figure month. And I sent this big long message to our team, the sales team, and like we all kind of agreed that like it doesn't feel that crazy. You know what I mean? Like we've had big weeks before, we've had big days where it's like we're kind of used to it. And it doesn't seem like we did anything different. Like the only thing I did differently was like I just filmed a shit ton of ads, like way more ads than normal, and we spent a lot more. And everyone was just like locked the fuck in. But it didn't seem like it's a huge deal. You know what I mean? I feel like that's why, and I think that's what keeps us going too. It's like we don't feel super accomplished. We don't feel like we just did this crazy thing. Feels like especially compared to like guys like Brooke or guys like Ryan, where it's like this would be a terrible month for them. If they only did $1 million, like, they would jump off a bridge. Like they wouldn't be profitable.
But it's funny because that's exactly what happened, right? And he went from like 4.5 to like 1.7 or something. They thought they were going to lose their mind. I think the biggest thing here though is that it's like a dial. With the ads, you can just dial it up. But it's what's really impressive is the fact that you have the sales team on the back, right? Like you have the infrastructure, sorry, to be able to scale. Because a lot of guys will just have like one, maybe two closers. They'll get packed up. They actually cap their revenue potential.
100%. Yeah. And it's even more so like not even just like calls that can be taken. Like you're having more closers makes everything easier. Where it's like you can do live transfers from dialers, or if other closers need calls taken. But also like when you're running a call funnel, what happens is a qualified lead will get to the end of the application and they can book. And then if they don't see every single time slot open that they could be able to book, like your cost per call will go up. So like we have closers on the calendar who like this one guy who's like kind of only there sometimes. I think he's on another offer or something like that. His thing is open all the time. So that if we have, 5 people that all want to have a call at 1 p.m. or something like that, they have the option to do that. Because like sometimes like that's the only time they have available, like that's their lunch, and they could, end up paying $5,000. But yeah, if they don't see the time slot that they want, they just won't do it, and that's a lost lead. So like, yeah, more closers the better. Like, and we also had to overhire where it was like kind of uncomfortable and didn't really make sense. Where it was like, all right, some of these guys aren't even getting calls. You know what I mean? They're gonna make $4,000 this month. Like it's kind of a waste of their time. But you need to do that so you can scale into it.
That's crazy, man. What advice do you have for managing that team, right? Because I guess you didn't have 3 or 4 closures before. You didn't have a shit ton of dialers. So how did you kind of go to ramping, training, deploying, replacing, everything?
It happened over time. And thankfully, bro, we haven't had to replace, we've never had a sales guy quit. Well, that's not true. We've had one main guy quit because he had a banger opportunity to go somewhere else. But like, dude, we don't have people quit on us. Like, we don't really have to replace people. Like, we have a sick culture. Like, all the boys are friends. Like, dude, we have, and these dialers too, bro. Like, they will get up at 8 in the morning. They'll start dialing at like 8:30. They might go for a walk or something like that. Start dialing at 8:30, and they'll go until like 1:30 in the morning, bro. Like, they'll hit Bali opt-ins. You know what I mean? People in Australia that are just getting up or something like that. And like they'll just be on Discord, like in a little huddle or chat or whatever it's called, and they'll just be with each other. Like all 8 of the guys will just be talking shit in between dials and stuff like that, just hanging out. It's hilarious. So I think having a good culture is important, because like that's why these guys work so hard, because they love this job. They see it as a job. They get to work with the boys. You know what I mean? I used to have this dope ass job. Summer 2016, I was working at McDonald's, bro. And we were like a couple of my boys that would work there back in the kitchen, and like some baddies that were working the window or something like that. And it was just like a sick job. It was cool. And that's kind of what this is for them. And like, even if they don't make like a ton of money, like all these guys, if they wanted to, they could either do what I teach, or they could go be a closer somewhere else and they would make more money. But they don't seem to want to do that. So
Dude, 100%. 100%. Dude, we moved back to an office. So we got an office in Bali. We had like a dispersed team. So they were in Europe, Asia, America, Brazil, and guys were coming for our events. Culture is so fucking good. Everyone bros like proper. It's just proper, like it's like a boys' culture, even though we have a shit ton of women too. And they were coming back here, and I was like, fuck this, let's go like big. Let's get a sick office, all glass, overlooking like the city, so beautiful, right by the beach, and everyone loves it. Now, if you heard of an office, everyone like, oh my fucking God, I'm never going to work there. But they want to be there. And now, it's not like an office. Like, it is super like aesthetic, and we have like a restaurant, bro. We got everything in there. But it's sick because these guys choose to be there. And last night, the biggest debate was who's going to take the key home, because someone is going to work later than the other person. The other person's going to come back earlier than the other person. So I think when you create that environment, and like you're just a cool dude, right? You're like a chill guy, like you're like pretty low stress. People want to be around that energy. So the person that you are is the reason why you have a bunch of other fucking cool people in the company.
I appreciate that, bro. And dude, isn't it so sick? Isn't it so cool? Because like, isn't that what we chase as entrepreneurs? Like we do this because we want everything to be custom. I want everything in my life to be to my spec, right? Just like a Rolls Royce. You want to choose every single option. And a big part of that, outside of your social life and where you live and like even the apartment you have in which city you want to live in, is like the people you're around when you're working. Because I spend a lot of time working. I enjoy what I do. And so I'm on as you know, as much as possible. And like the people that I get to spend time, like, dude, I'll just randomly FaceTime my closers when I know they have a no-show or something like that. I'll just FaceTime and just we'll talk shit for a little bit. Like it's fun, bro. And like that's the thing that I appreciate the most about entrepreneurship, and it sounds like you probably would agree, is like you get to pick who you work with. I've never had a or I haven't had a shitty coworker in years because I choose my coworkers. Like I hire them, I pay them. You know what I mean? So it makes it really fun to like have just a culture of people that are all working on the same sort of thing.
It's leadership, right? And I think I don't know where I heard this, but it's like someone will appreciate just a random fucking FaceTime on a Saturday evening, like a closer or setter who's like struggling on their like, you know, weekend time. Weekend's a fucking scam, but whatever. They will appreciate that more than anything else. Then more than the money. And this is the funny part, is that like they don't just get money from you, which you pointed out earlier. They get the lessons, the insight, the fucking clarity, the friendships. There's so much other shit that they get that you would never get elsewhere. This is the big advantage. And I think it's actually funny because we went through this kind of spell where we got more calls booked from cold and conversion went down for sure. The close rate went down 100%. And I was writing to a few communities that I'm in and all this kind of stuff. And the biggest feedback was drop the guys and replace them or pay for training. And it never even came into my mind to drop them because they were all super fucking committed guys. I was like, who's the sales trainer that I can pay? Who can I do one-to-one coaching with? Who can come in and train our team? And that made a huge improvement to everything because like it's way easier to develop better talent than it is to fucking find new people like 24/7. And I think people also appreciate that, right?
Dude, yes. Like, listen, I'm not supposed to be as close to my guys as I am. Like, it's against managerial practices. Like, you're supposed to kind of like leave some distance. So if you do have to fire somebody, you don't feel bad about it. So I mean, there's definitely guys that I've kept on way too long that should have been fired. Like the first closer I ever hired, I like the guy. He's a good person. But bro, like, so I brought him on. And then like he was good for like a year. And then after that, he just got way too comfy. And this guy was like my first hire. Like this is the first guy I ever brought on for this business. And I was like, dude, I can't let him go. And so I had endless conversations with him. And I was like, man, like you got to pick it up. Like you're being lazy. Like you're not, following up with people. Like you're just letting people off if they're not a lay down, you know what I mean? Like not even handling objections. And when I finally had to fire this kid, like it really hurt, bro. Like it really sucked. And like this is a kid that like, dude, I'd given him crazy numbers and bonuses. Like, dude, I bought him his first Rolex, and it was like, man, I can't believe that like this shit didn't work. So like, I don't know. Like you kind of have to accept that sometimes, but like that's why I have a sales manager, is because I'm like everyone always thinks that it's like the big boss is like the scary one. And like the manager sort of like he's for the people, but like it's kind of the opposite because like most of the sales guys are like kind of afraid of Philip because he's way meaner. And like when I hop on a call, like it's like, okay, we're chilling. Like none of us are gonna get fired today because like Philip's the one that has to deliver the bad news when somebody gets fired. Philip's the one that has to like deal with these guys and like train them and tell them when they're doing something wrong. And like I just get to pull up and be like, dude, like for example, like one of my closers lives up in Toronto. And this weekend I'm gonna be there, and like I'm probably gonna take this kid to Paris, Texas. You know, that's a popular like bar. Like I've partied with him before. Like I've been out with all these guys, so it's like that's like the shit that I want to do. I don't have to like train them or discipline them. I just get to, make ads and party with my closers. But
That's a perfect position to be in. But I love that, dude. It's more of like a family vibe whereby you're all in it together. Like up until we had the office, we were all working from my villa. And the villa, it was fine for fucking a few people, and then it just kept growing and growing. But we eat together. Actually, funny enough, I was just messaging the guys before you joined. We train together every day. Super important. So, the gyms in Bali are fucking insane. Like gym, recovery, food, like everything's kind of like in one like compound. And there's like 20 of these places, bro, by the way. They're like really, really beautiful. It's like a country club, basically. And you'll find this funny, bro. The guys were like, asked me one day, they were like, do we get like healthcare? And I was like, no, but if you're fat, I'll pay for your personal trainer. So all the guys train with my coach. My coach is like a pro bodybuilder, bear in mind. I'm like, go to him and he'll take care of you. And then they were like, will you pay for that? And I was like, no, you have to pay for yourself. You won't fucking appreciate it if you don't pay for it. And then they're all getting jacked, getting shredded, making money, and having fun. Like, bro, it doesn't get any better than
And
that.
I bet their performance goes up when they shed that weight too, bro.
100%, dude. 100%.
Like that little saying that I love so much. Like, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're a little bit lazy in the gym, you're way too sedentary, you're eating like a pig, you're not going to be as effective. Like, you're way more locked in, you're way more effective. Like, if you got fitness dialed and your social life dialed, like, you're going to be dialed on the phones too, or whatever they're doing if they're selling.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Dude, that was a big part of your journey too, right? I remember 2 or 3 years ago, that's when you first like properly got into the gym.
I've kind of always been in the gym, but I've been a lot fatter than I am right now. I originally lost like a shit ton of weight. Like, dude, I was big. I was like 180, which for my frame is too much. Like, I'm not a tall guy. I'm like 5'7", and
Same. On a good day, I get up to 5'6".
but dude, like, we have the same thing where it's like you can look like how you look, not working nearly as hard in the gym. Like, we have it easier. You know what I mean?
100%. But also, bro, you can get, I'll tell you a fucking funny story afterwards, but you can look shit really quickly. This is one thing I noticed. Like, I'm like 80 kilos now, and I can just like 1 kilo on me is like huge. It's like big on my face and shit,
And
you
that
know?
can be one bad weekend. You know what I mean? Like, my maintenance calories are like 2,300 or so, 2,200. And so, dude, I can eat 2,200 calories in one sitting if I want to. It's easy. Like, some of these guys who are like 6'2" plus, and they can eat 3,500 calories a day and be fine. Like, they'll still lose weight. Like that, I don't know. That's just a reality I'll never get to be a part of. But I realized I was looking way too chubby. I think like summer 2023, and also that was you ever heard of I think it's called first baddie syndrome or something like that. And I started dating this girl who at the time I thought was like a little bit too hot for me, and I was like, man, I gotta get my shit together. Like, she was way hotter than I was, and so I was like, I gotta close this gap a little bit. And then I don't know if you fuck with peptides or anything, bro, but I've been kind of on and off of Retta for the last like few months. Not because I need to shred, but because it makes it so much easier to maintain and just like not get out of control.
So I was on BCP 157 for recovery, but that was only when I was running marathons. And bro, like, I tore my calf and I was trying to fix it with a fucking peptide. So it's kind of like, I don't even know what it is, bro. I can't even think of an analogy for it. So that was retarded. And then I started TRT about a month ago. I have a hilarious story for you. So I'm 29. My test was 7:14, and my free test was pretty good. It was like 24, whatever the fuck that means. But I've been training since I was 14. So I was competing when I was younger and all this kind of stuff. And the big issue for me is to put on more muscle takes so much of a bulk. So if I spent 6 months in a bulk, right? And I put on like 2 kilos of muscle. The rest is fat. So I spoke to my coach and I was like, we're going to run a small dose of TRT. So I run like 150 megs. And bro, it was fucking crazy. Craziest shit ever. Bro, within like a day, like I said, 3 days, it's like Terminator. I'm asleep like this. And then my eyes open and I'm like, must scale now. My brain is just like always on. And the best analogy is it's like driving a Ferrari, which you own, at full throttle, full revs at all times. And also, bro, there's like a huge link between like high test and risk. And I'm just way more risk on. And also decision making. Because you think about it, right? If you're in a corporate job and you're like a fatty and you're like, low test guy, you're like a super indecisive. You're like, I must ask my manager, can I go to the bathroom? Whereas if you're like high test, you just make decisions faster and you're like, fuck it, I'll just figure it out. And that's basically what happens. So I need to get my bloods done now at the end of the month, but I expect it to be in around 1,200, generally, man, genuinely. And like that's super. And the analogy is kind of like, because I was never on it, when I went on it, it basically has like a huge, you become like a super responder, basically, to your body. And yeah, man, it's fucking crazy. So obviously like you're super young, but maybe like 3 years time. So just for a bit of context, I put on 6 kilos, which is like 13 pound, 14 pound in 6 weeks.
Wow. Wait, when did you start?
Like 7 weeks ago. I put on 4 kilos in a week.
Now that you've started, is this, so have you kind of made peace with the fact that this is like, are you gonna do it forever? Like, are you ever gonna get off, or is there like a plan to get off? Or
Yeah, well, like this is the thing is that like you want to be able to do this well into your like 30s and 40s, and one of the reasons why people quit just with everything is because of drive. The drive goes down. So the logic is like, you know, if you're gonna go on it at like 40 because you want to have your drive to build stuff when you're in your 40s and 50s, well then you may as well just have it throughout the entire period. And honestly, dude, like the amount of involvement that takes when you get over that mental barrier, it kind of like adds, it's so little to maintain. Like it's, if you think about the context of like going to the gym, getting your food right, sleeping, it's so much easier, genuinely. And it's actually funny because there's loads of studies on if you're on TRT and you don't train, if you're on TRT, train. If you don't take TRT, train. If you don't take TRT and don't train, the guys who take TRT and don't train make more progress than guys that are in the gym.
I know, dude. I saw that. I think it was a Jeff Nippard video. And that shit blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. Guys that will take steroids and sit on the couch will make more gains than you and I naturally busting our ass, like going full out in the gym. And it's not by a lot.
Yeah, no, but by a lot, dude. I was sick. I got like sick for the first. I had a podcast with Jeremy Haynes, and I messaged him being like, "I sound like fucking SpongeBob. I have to cancel." And then he was like, "Oh, okay." And then a week later, I had my podcast with him, and he was like, "Do you feel better?" And I was fully bedbound for a week, and I'm usually itching to get back to the gym. And after like 5 days, I was like, "I am bigger than what I was before I got sick," because my body was like, it was recovering. Number one, and I got up and I was like, my shoulders are rounder. I have more energy, and I was sick, bear in mind. I was fucking bedridden, bro, for a week. And yeah, dude, it's an interesting game. So I was joking to my coach yesterday, and you see like the TRT needle, and it's all about recovery, bro. Because that's like the mental model, and it's interesting, right? Because like if that's a super low dose, imagine when you're, I don't know, like you're cycling. Or what I mean is you're actually physically cycling, like you're like a cyclist or you're a bodybuilder or you're competing at a high level. You're just in a different ball game, you know? So one thing you got to be aware of too is like, you know, Hormozy says he's on TRT as well, right? But it's all about the dose. You know, if you're at 250 milligrams, that probably means nothing to you now. But if you go from like 150 to 250, it's not TRT anymore, right? It's just straight up cycling. So yeah, so you just got to be careful, like, you know, where do you fall within that threshold? Like, as my coach says, what's TRT plus? You know, there's TRT plus, and then there's just gear. And it's like, okay, which bracket are we actually in?
I follow this guy on Twitter. This is how I know all this stuff, bro. I don't really look into it outside of this one guy, Anti-Doc, Mass Monster or something like that. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, such a Twitter name,
He's an anonymous Twitter user that like, he has basically let me find him. Yeah. Oh, Mass Mentor. That's what. Yeah, Anti-Doc. He's a anonymous Twitter guy that I guess just experiments on all kinds of random shit. Like, I don't know if he like actively does like any crazy steroids, like any of the dangerous shit, like Deca or Tren. But he like, bro, he's a human pin cushion. He'll fucking pin whatever. Like if it's a peptide, he'll do it. And he makes these, or not him, but the company he's affiliated with. They make these mixes and stuff. And so there's one called Glow where it's like a mix of like GHK and something else. And it's like, he'll just try whatever. And like, he's very pro like steroids. He's honestly normalized it where it's like, dude, I used to think that if you were taking tests, like you were a crazy person. It's like, why the fuck are you on tests, bro? Like you don't need that. Like your balls are going to shrink. Like I had all these like weird, I didn't know how it worked. Right now, like I actually know a handful of guys who are younger than me doing TRT. Because they actually need it.
And dude, even if you look at someone like Rob the Bank, I don't know, is he on it?
Oh, he is.
But
and he's open about it.
Yeah. And he's like 34, 35?
32, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. But like, that's the reason why he has his frame. Bro, the dude's like 6'6", and he's like super jacked.
Yeah. I can't take pictures of him because he makes me look like I'm like 4'11", bro. He's such a big dude.
When I met him in Miami, he got out of a fucking... It was an Escalade. He got out of an Escalade, and I was like, this dude looks like a professional basketball player. Just the way he walks in his massive fucking green jacket. And that was a big thing for me, right? Because it's not about like, are you too young? It's just about like, are you actually committed? And I would say one of the variables why he can just get up and fucking chew glass every day is because of that. It's one of the 1,000 variables. But yeah, man, and I genuinely looking at something like Hormozy, it's one of the same effects as well. Because you got to think about it, man. Like as you get past like 28, 29, your body does decay. Right, it actually slowly decays until it decomposes until you die, and one is obviously your hair. Two is like, this just sounds so weird now, but your skin follicles, your skin cells become hair cells. Right, you like develop hair on your back, your ears. Like you actually literally start decaying, but you can stop that with TRT. You can actually literally stop that, and it's also fucking legal, bro. Like it's fully legal. It's legalized. You literally get it administered by a doctor. So if a doctor is administering to you, it's fully legal. You can travel with it. Then, like, where actually is the issue? The issue is like your as you said, your awareness of the information. So once I had looked into it for quite some time, I was like, well, this makes fucking perfect sense. From like it's a business decision.
I'm very curious about this, and I've joked around so much like with my boys and stuff. Like, dude, fuck it, I'm hopping on test. Like everyone always jokes about it, but like I'm curious. Let's say you're like you are traveling, right? So you obviously bring like, I guess, alcohol pads and the syringes and the test in a little bottle. What happens if you don't take it? Like if you for some reason, like either you can't get access to it, or you don't have syringes, or especially in Bali where it's like that stuff's probably not readily available. Are you screwed if you don't take it for like 2 weeks, or like what happens?
Not for like 2 weeks. You're pretty much good for that, and after like 4 weeks, then you're probably going to go back to like normal levels. But this is the thing: is like if you're blasting fucking gear, of course you're gonna feel like shit. But I actually said exactly this to my coach when I was doing it. It was like, what about that 2 to 4 week range? It's good. It's chill, and it's almost like not worth the hassle, like bringing it. Like you need a doctor's note anyway, which is fine. And you can also literally go in and out of America under like there's like a special medical act that allows you to do that, and it's just preloaded. It's like a fucking gun, preloaded. You can just go in anywhere if you want to. But full transparency, if I'm going into to San Francisco, which I need to do next month for like a week or two, I'm not going to bring anything with me. I'm just going to go, work, come back, done. Dude, this shows you like how retarded science can be. Or like, yeah, literally science can be. When TRT started, it was 1 injection a month you were given. So
Of like,
I'm on 60.
so you're doing 150 a week, right?
150 a
All
week,
these
right?
600 milligrams all at once?
Yes, pretty much, because it's 60 milliliters I take a week. So they would just preload that shit, fuck it in your ass or whatever, and then it would just like boom and then release, which is so bad for your blood, bro. Like that's super, super bad for your blood. Like you never want anything. It's like taking like ecstasy, man, right? You don't like ecstasy is inherently bad because you go up and go down. So it's basically the equivalent of that just for testosterone. So that's still happening. Even like one of my mates that's here, he was like, oh yeah, like quite literally, I just go to the doctor and they just stick it in my ass and then I come back the next month. And I was like, what?
Wow.
What?
But you administer it yourself?
So, yeah, and you can do like, I would suggest like 2 to 3 times a week and it's just done.
Okay.
Chill.
Because I won't even do my own Retta needles, and they're tiny needles, and it's sub-Q, so it'll be like my belly. But when I'm in Miami, I have a nurse come and do it, and now that I'm in Canada, I have my EA coming down. It's not her job. She helps me. But like, yeah, that's how
it's like to scale this business, you're gonna have to do this. It's a business expense.
No, for real. Like, but I had her do everything, bro. She like bought it online, and she's like reconstituting it for me and everything, and then she come and shoot me up, and then back on she goes.
Dude, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, and you have, again, right, you have to be not careful. You have to be careful, obviously, but you got to see what's best fit, right? It's like sub-Q, which is below your belly button. That's actually not best for like TRT sometimes. I'd much prefer like your... Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is like you just got to be careful, right? If you're using a peptide, if you're using this, you see understand like what are you actually using and like what's the actual outcome I'm going to get for it. Because, dude, did you ever get like PIP, like post-injection pain?
Do I know?
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So I actually get that quite a lot. So like my leg, I'll get it's almost like it's like a dead leg. When you're in school and someone hits you in the leg, you get that like feeling and it's like, ooh, fuck, dude, that's sore. And you have that for like 24 hours. So you got to figure it out, right? It's like it's just bro math, bro science. It's like the ads. You got to figure them out one way.
Bro, everything, man.
But it's literally like a make money meme. You know what I mean? It's like the EA injecting the peptide so I can run more ads and just making sure that it all fits together.
Exactly, bro. It all ties in. Yeah, dude. But to take it back, I probably won't be doing TRT for a while. I'm gonna try and see what I can do naturally first, but I will hit you up when I decide to do it. When I get to my
Get your bloods done. That's the biggest thing. My bloods have been super stable for years, dude. It was basically the exact same, like 714, 704, 726 for like 2 years straight.
you were
You know,
already
and
naturally good.
Well, also, bro, like so I was a super degen, and I mean like very, very heavy, like partying, Ibiza every year, like a couple times a year, all this kind of stuff. That because I'm kind of like inherently stupid, I took a break from all that stuff to build a business. Because one, I just like fucking needed to figure shit out, and then two, I kind of never went back. So that was the biggest thing, was like I just never really went back to it, just because I don't know, Asia's not huge for partying, to be honest. Like it's very big on like lifestyle factors. So when I took away a break from that obviously meant my physique was going to get better, my energy was going to get better, my stress went way down. Like, dude, I was super fucking erratic when I was younger, just like couldn't hold a relationship, all over the place, and all that stuff kind of settled. So then I was getting really dialed in training, and for me, I do want to get into like really kind of extreme sport, like long distance running, like really heavy shit. But one, it's a massive time sink for the business, and then two, I just feel I'm too young. So I was like, all right, just gonna bro scale it for a bit, and you can always do that stuff when you're older, like 35, 40, but you can't really do that stuff when you're in your 20s, right?
You talking about business?
No, like more like long extreme sport shit, you know, whether it's like extreme running and all that kind of stuff. You want to do that. Yeah, you want to optimize this time for it now for like building the business, building the body, building the brain, and then you can do all that shit when you're older, right?
Yeah. Dude, that's actually, and like it's gonna sound silly because you're older than me, but like, dude, I'm the oldest out of like my friend group. I'm like I said, I'm 26. And dude, 26 is when I'm starting to feel like I'm already starting to feel like a teaser of what it'll be like to be 30 or 35, where it's like there's some shit that is just like, dude, I threw my back out like a month ago or something, and it was really bad, bro. I like legit could not walk for like 3 days. I ended up fixing it just by having a couple drinks, and like my body just relaxed, and so everything was totally fine.
Having a couple of
With that,
drinks.
like, dude, I was like in unbearable pain for like a full 5 days, and then I like forced myself because I was still moving around a little bit. I found out I was able to drive the car, and so I got in the Ferrari, and I put my girl in the passenger seat, and we drove up to West Palm to this hotel called the Ben, and we just wanted to have like a little weekend or whatever. And dude, we went to the hotel bar, and I limped to the hotel bar. I was like walking kind of sideways. And then when I sat down on the stool, and I had 4 Moscow mules. And by the time I got up off the stool and went back to the hotel room, it was fine. So I don't know what happened, bro. It was just like a really tense muscle. But anyway, when I was walking around all sore and just feeling shitty and like inflexible and immobile, I was like, man, like this is how like old people actually are. Like this is gonna be me one day. And like I've suddenly felt this urgency to like start to protect my body a little bit more. Like I used to laugh at guys who would do mobility training. You know, Logan Fitz. I love Logan Fitz, and like he's like also degen, but also like trains really hard. And he used to like get on Twitter and start talking about training mobility. I'm like, dude, you're Logan Fitz. Like you're like 220 pounds, just pure muscle. Like, why are you talking about mobility? And like now I'm starting to understand why people do that, because it's a longevity play. You know what I mean? Like you want to be like, you want to feel good forever. I'm like,
Fuck, man. The gym that I'm in is literally like a mobility gym. Like there's obviously a shit ton of like Smith machines and dumbbells and stuff, but all those mobility guys, it's funny enough, a lot of those like bodybuilding bros, they move into calisthenics, and they're all doing like wild calisthenics now. Now I will say they built the muscle, and now they look insanely shredded, like insanely shredded, because they're working on mobility, they're doing a shit ton of like body weight stuff, but like actual tension stuff. So yeah, man, like, you know, I actually always say that in Bali, health is the ultimate flex, because you can't drive good cars here, It's super fucking humid, so I don't even wear my watches here, man. I might wear them at dinner, but like, I can't wear them during the day because my wrists expand, so I can't even wear a fucking watch. Yeah, health is the ultimate flex, man.
That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, you got nothing else there. Well, I mean,
Dude, there's literally nothing here. Like, I'm actually being serious. The traffic is so bad. It's just so fucking, it's so terrible. You can't get a car here. Like, you can't. And I've seen like a few Porsches, and they just look retarded because the roads are just so heavy with traffic that the only way to get around is motorbike. So I have a decent enough motorbike, but it's still not a priority, right? This is the thing, is like, it's just not a priority. Which is a good and a bad thing. I obviously wish I would have like a little bit more kind of luxuries like that, but at the end of the day, what I'm optimizing for, it's funny because it's like I'm not optimizing for like a watch, right? I'm optimizing for like a really good business that pays me, that I have fun with, that I work with good people, that I build something really actually fucking meaningful and get good results. It's just interesting. I feel like a lot of people go through that arc. Does that make sense?
dude, it's so funny you say that because like my why has changed so much over the last few years. Like back in 2022, started making money. My why was I want to buy my first Rolex. That's what I want. That was all I cared about. You know what I mean? And back in the day, like before that, it used to be like my why is I want to move out. But now it has nothing to do with even the money that's going into the bank account. Like I don't really care that much. My spending habits have gone way down. It used to be out of control. Like I used to spend like 80 grand a month on personal shit, bro. It was crazy. Yeah, it was wild. So that's gone down. I've fixed that a little bit. And like now, like my why, bro, is like it's just straight up scoreboard. I say this to a lot of people, and they're like, no, bro, like you also want stuff. And it's like, yeah, of course I want stuff. Like I want a crib and I want, whatever. Like I want whatever. But like the thing that drives me now is like who else, like who can I beat? Like who else is ahead? And I always see revenue, not profit, but revenue in terms of like how good are you a business? Like I heard this originally from my buddy Daniel Fazio, who I don't know if you know him, but he's a great entrepreneur. He's built multiple successful like 7 8 figure businesses. And he said that like if somebody is beating you in revenue, they are better at business than you. And like I used to make all these excuses where it's like same thing when I was talking about Brooke, right? Where it's like, oh, well, his offer's better and like they've got a bigger team and they're using ads and stuff, and I'm just doing this all organic. If someone is making more in revenue than you are, they're ahead of you skill wise. And so like obviously there's people that are way ahead of me, like in my industry, like in my vertical that are way like crushing me. But that's what drives me where it's like, okay, now like as of August, like I got a 7 figure month on the board. Like that's cool. Meaning like the next one that I'm gonna have to knock down is like it's gonna put me up a few notches, and like that's just what I care about. Just like putting up numbers specifically with
And that's why I have kept the podcast throughout everything. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's why I've kept the podcast because, like, I'm fucking scaling all day, and I was like, okay, I want to have this conversation. I'm just gonna finish this conversation and go fucking double my ad spend, right? Because it's like someone who's younger than me can do it. In theory, why can't someone else do it, right? And it's obviously there's like a skill deficiency, whatever. But at the end of the fucking day, it's just about getting a few different variables correct. And it's like, yes, that's a big play. And that was one of the reasons why I got into software, man, because my background was in engineering, mildly. But that's what I did in school, right? And I was like, this is like a thorn in my side. And I have a bit of capital to be able to invest in it. And I was like, okay, let's do this, right? Let's do this with the info. It's a typical hero arc, right? Alex Becker, Hyros, it's all of them, right? If you look at Umar Ashraf and Tradezilla, same shit. It's just you build info, get a shit ton of customers, build a software to help them because you're playing like a bigger game. And that's what keeps me in the game, dude. That's what keeps me like super, super excited. And what's interesting about that is if you want to have that kind of play, or even like you with real estate, that means you need to get even better at your info. You can't forget it. You have to get even better at it. So even my team, they were like, so like, how does like the marketing look for the other thing? And I was like, no, bro, like opposite. We need more customers and info, more clients to have more customers.
exactly.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
It's a beautiful little flywheel.
Exactly. And that's what I was gonna say. It's like that's how you know you're in a good spot is like when you have one main thing you're doing. The SaaS is not separate from the main thing, the info thing. You know what I mean? It all works together. Like you have the main offer, and then you have a SaaS behind it, and maybe there's some sort of B2B play that you can do later down the line or something. You know what I mean? Like the best offers like have all of those things.
Yeah, man. Would you ever consider that for yourself? Because I know you're really like hard on like AI copywriting. One observation I've had, because like we're doing like an AI SaaS, but the difference is we're doing it on quantitative data versus qualitative. Let me give you an example. So it's an AI SaaS for sales. Like it's like a really autistic like sales AI sales coach, but it's for quantitative data. So if you looked at like your show rate, close rate, it's very easy for us to do interpretations. But with AI text, it's very subjective. You could look at copy and think it's shit. I could look at copy and think it's great. I'm just curious because like you have that ecosystem of customers and brand that you could kill it.
Your SaaS it analyzes sales conversations, what you're saying?
Yeah, so basically it's an AI sales manager. So basically it's, if you imagine your shitty CRM that doesn't even fucking work, it's automating all your sales calls. It's tracking it, it's managing it, and then with all the insights that we have of all your calls, it's running like analysis based on it, which is like, hey, like it's not cool that your show rate's super low. Here's your forecast for the month. Here's how many calls you need. So it's like a huge dashboard with like an AI sales coach built into it. Yeah, we already have like a shit ton of customers, like big sales teams and stuff. So we also run a big sales team too. So it actually started for us, and then it's become quite good. And yeah, we're just going to be doing like a lot of outbound, getting good salespeople on. But the reason I'm saying this is because when you have the data, it's easy to do all the analysis. But we actually started, funny enough, with a VSL builder, and that was a shit show because it was so subjective. Copy was so difficult to analyze. It was so difficult to come out with good copy because everyone has their own taste, right? And this is what I was kind of thinking for you is like, it seems like there's a big opportunity here for you, but it seems like it would be much more complicated for you, basically.
It definitely is. And that's kind of why I've held off on doing any sort of like SaaS related stuff. Like, dude, people were talking about like building like a copy MBA AI copywriting tool back like 2 years ago. And I was like, nah, man, like it only recently has gotten like to the point where it is actually good. And if you know how to prompt it properly, you can do whatever you want. Like I got to write a VSL because you were saying like after this podcast, you're going to go like hop back in the ads manager. I got to write a VSL. I need like a short VSL for this one funnel that we're going to try out. And it'll probably be done in like an hour because there's a whole system that like it can do exactly what you want if you know how to prompt it. And so I think the solution to the whole like what are we gonna like turn into a SaaS for us? I actually, funny story, me and Ben, we were gonna build a SaaS starting in the beginning of the year. He pitched me the idea in January. And basically what we were gonna do was clone another tool that was starting to get a little bit of traction. It was really cool, it was really effective. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so we hired like real American devs and we brought in a CTO to build this thing. And we were spending around 15, 20K a month on devs to get it up and running. And by the time that it was done, the other person that we were trying to copy was so far ahead that we couldn't, it wasn't even worth launching. We were like, so we actually just cut our losses and we just like, we couldn't even sell it for parts because no one would have wanted it. So we literally just like, we took the rest of the money out of the bank account and closed down. And him and I together have both been thinking like, what should we do? Like we should do something together. And there's one company right now that we've actually been talking to back and forth for a while on like just trying to figure out the right numbers because we're going to get equity and we're going to promote it. And I think that's probably going to be the way we do it. We're not going to build it ourselves because like, again, that costs a shit ton of money. Like you have a background in this. So like, you know how to code obviously, right?
I know how to code, but similar to you, I brought in a Canadian developer and the guy's shit hot. He was like 10 years experience in Shopify. And yeah, like it's super expensive, but the biggest thing is front end, or like specifically front end. I have a good eye for UI, like I've a good like design eye. So it's very easy for me to be like, oh, okay, it should look like this. And obviously I know the subject, which is sales. So that was a big help. And then also being able to get our first customers. Now, again, we're still pre-revenue, right? But we do have, I do have like 20 to 25 sales teams looking to pay anywhere between $500 and $1,500 a month right now. So it's a fucking good position to be in, just because like, as we're talking right now, I just fucking love this shit, similar to you. But B2C, bro, it's a dogfight. Actually, Eman said that to me. He was like, if you want to do something, don't do B2C software. He was like, it is the biggest dogfight of all time. B2B, easier.
Yeah, because you go higher ticket.
Higher ticket. So again, preface, harder to get clients, but easier to reduce churn. Other way around, if you were to launch like a B2C TikTok fucking software, a bunch of dumbasses who are 16 will get on and they'll hop on, hop off. So that's one of my reservations with some of the like school softwares, you know, to integrate with, like for Hormozy, is like you're gonna get a bunch of people to click on and click off, which is really fucking not good for the brand. Like it's actually extremely bad for the brand if you have people who click on and click off all the time. So there's just a lot of consideration with B2C stuff that you're not gonna get in B2B.
Yeah. I mean, bro, B2C across the board is tough. Like, List Kit.
Yeah, that's Daniel
That's
Fazio,
Fazio,
right?
yeah. So I mean, the reason they were able to do so well is because they had an offer that was in the thousands of dollars. So obviously it's a SaaS, and I think it's credit based. I don't even know if it's a subscription SaaS, but their intro offer was like a combination of like the actual software and a service they're providing that people would pay 2,500 or 3K for, that they were able to run ads to. So like for most people who are trying to run ads to a $20 a month SaaS, there's no way, like you can't make it work unless you have billions of dollars of funding, or not billions, but multiple 8 figures of funding that you can just dump into ads and hope that you're profitable if you fix the churn problem on like month 9 of these people. And like across, enough scale, you can get it to work. But like for ListKit, they're good marketers. They know their market, and the offer was really good. It was a setup, like a cold email setup offer that they ran with. And that makes so much sense. And I wish I had some sort of business like that. Oh, by the way, they're going to have a nice check in a few years from now. That I think they've been pretty open about. But I mean, dude, that's my sort of dream business. You know what I mean? Like that would be awesome. Going B2B with a software that inherently has like way higher multiples than the stuff that you and I mostly do. And then, yeah, you're dealing with people who are mostly qualified. They all have businesses. They're not like, you're not going to have like random unemployed people in your funnel. It's just not relevant to them.
Yeah, they're not even going to care about it, right? And I think it's something maybe to think of, like if you're going to do that play with yourself and Ben, is like we're going to give it to our customers, our clients for free for 90 days, onboard them. They're going to use it. So everyone's going to use it for free. They're going to be using it anyway to track their sales calls and just look at their sales data. It's going to be very like kind of gamified casino vibe, so that like people can really see like progress that they're making. And then after like 90 days, if they move on to a subscription of like $250 a month, no one gives a shit, right? And if they have a bigger team, then it might be like $800 a month or whatever. So people want their life, like you want to leverage what you have already. And then the thing about ListKit's super interesting, because that was a big thing that we wanted to do, which was coach people on their sales, like founder-led sales, small sales team, which you've done a good job on. Like it's part of our offer too. So we coach sales, teach them the fucking fundamentals, and then have this unilateral agreement, like info to SaaS, SaaS to info, back and forth. And I think when that's like at scale, you're just gonna fucking kill it. So that's why I was saying, for you, with all the customers that you have, everyone that's in your pipeline, you could really, really, really nail it.
Well, I think I'm in a unique position where it's I've been doing this a while, and I got fat CRM of a lot of people who are customers. And so the company that we're probably going to end up partnering with, it is B2C and it is low ticket, but I think for us it would make sense because number one, Ben and I aren't going to have to front ad spend. We're not going to have to pay money for this. Like we're just using our existing audiences, organic and also paid. Like what I could do is, like, for example, like we spent on call funnel, we'll usually do like anywhere between 10 and 12,000 a day. And right now there's another funnel they're probably going to spin up that'll be like another 3 to 5, I think, probably by the end of the month. And like, dude, tens of millions of people see the ad. And like, even if they don't directly come from me, they like, I can mention the name of the product in the ad or in the VSL that another, huge tranche of people are going to land on. And like, we can fill it just with that. And then especially if people are actually doing the business model, and I tell them that this is basically a required thing you have to get is, $20 to $50 a month, whatever it is, then like we can get, thousands of people in there, and it wouldn't be too difficult. And so I think in my case, just because like we have so many eyeballs right now, it makes sense. But like if I had a more niche business, then I would definitely go the more like hands-on B2B play and charge more for it. But I think like, yeah, at this point, like we can probably get away with doing B2C, but I know ultimately like the thing that you guys are doing is probably like what makes more sense, like economically.
True, but again, it's audience size, right? Like quite literally, the engagement that we get is probably like 1% to 2%. Considering 1% considering the ads that you get. So it's a different level. It's a different fucking game, right? But to kind of give you some peace, right? I spoke with Jordan Platten recently. So Jordan's like a big like agency guy from like back in the day. We actually do his content. So in our agency, we run his content on Instagram, and basically he said that all of his SaaS friends who are doing $1 million a month in SaaS, majority of it is paid. So they have self-liquidating funnels. They generally recoup everything within the first to 2 months. And then after that, then providing the product's not shit, they're profitable. So everything's profitable from there. So some guys are spending $300K a month on the front end, making back like $1 million, basically, in that month. And then forever afterwards, they're profitable, because there's a bit of a mindset shift, right? Which is info, the rebuy rate is quite low just in general. People just buy things and they're like, oh, I thought it was forever. Whereas with SaaS, like one, it's self-serve for the most part, unless you're doing like a high-roast model. And the second thing is then there's no interaction. So, because like info, as you know, with the 9 coaches you have or whatever the fuck it is, it's not actually like infinitely scalable unless you're selling like just a fucking ebook. But that's not the game that the industry is just not at that point anymore, right? There has to be people helping actual people in the trenches. Otherwise, quite literally no one does fucking anything.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that like the majority of my money that I'm going to make over the next like probably 10 years will be from info. And I don't even think it's going to be from my info. I don't think it's going to be from Cardinal Mason's Copy MBA. I think like I've just learned so much over the last couple of years of how these businesses work. And I know that they're not going out of style, bro. People are going to continue buying info, whether it's from me or you or from somebody else. That's always going to be a thing that they will buy. It's been a thing since the 80s, bro. Before that, probably. But like that's when it went mainstream. The like Chinese guy who would do like infomercials, and like it was like literally the first ever guru. Tom Vu, I believe his name was. Tom Vu was in the 80s. He would like do infomercials, and he would be like, I'm rich. And he'd like have like two like baddies like with him. The same shit that like you see all the time. Like he'd have like a nice car. He's like, I do real estate. I probably shouldn't be doing the accent, but you know what I'm talking about. Where like he was like, I think he was teaching real estate or whatever the fuck he was teaching. Yeah, look up Tom Vu.
Dude, look at this guy.
Yeah, that's him.
And then like he's next to a video with Ty Lopez, and it's like real estate scammer who totally got away with it.
Yeah, so he was like
that's
the OG,
so
bro.
funny, man.
So like they were doing infomercials in the 80s, and they were doing like direct mail in the 90s, and then like right before 2010 is when they started doing it on online, and it's never going away, man. I don't think that there's ever going to be a period in humanity where people don't want to make more money, or they don't want to lose weight, or they don't want to figure out how to get laid, or figure out how to make
So
friends.
fucking true,
It's
bro.
always going to be a thing. And like there's infinite free content online for all of those things. People are always going to feel like there's something better that you might get if you pay for it, which is usually true, by the way. Like the stuff that I put out on YouTube isn't nearly as good as the stuff that I actually have inside the program. And also, it's important to note, just for anybody watching, I put a shit ton of time and money and effort into making the program really good. Like the product is good. Like I started as a product guy. I care about that. So like these people aren't just getting sold bullshit. So they do get results. But the information to figure out how to do it yourself already exists. These people would rather pay just to get the fast track. And that's just behavior, like human behavior 101, man.
And again, right, info to pay for accountability, services to pay for implementation. That's never going away. Even with AI, like you're still gonna need some fucking random dude to just be actually there helping you. So yeah, dude, like again, you said about info starting in the 80s, but university's been around forever. Like education's been around forever. Teaching has been around forever. So the concept, you can go more meta. The concept of me implanting an idea into your head and teaching you something has always been around. So but what's important here is adjusting with the times, which is the reason why kind of, fucking 2 hours ago I was saying you got to keep up to date, which is like, if it's more paid now, don't be resistant, jump at it. If your program needs an extra fucking 4 CSMs, don't be resistant, jump at it. Like, kind of do what's necessary, not what's asked of you, or not what's asked of industry. And this is a big thing that I've observed. Like, dude, we do coaching we have 6 coaching sessions a week. Fucking 6, bro. And I do 2, another dude does 2. I have a second program as well where I do 3 there. So it's basically like, I do 5 a week basically. The reason being is because people all over the world, we don't do that much in a community aspect. So we do more stuff on calls. I don't know. Like you kind of do what's necessary. That might not work for your offer. It doesn't fucking matter, right? It's just like what's actually necessary to get people the result and get out of your box. That's the biggest thing here is get out of your box.
Yeah, I think one of the most valuable things I've ever learned is, a lot of people, they'll double down and work really hard and lock in when things are bad. Like when numbers are going down, they're like, okay, this would be the time for me to fucking work harder. But it's usually the best time, like the best time to do that is when things are really good. And so like when you have, a crazy record month, that's not the time to chill. I mean, the time to chill, I don't know when the time to chill actually even is, but like this is the time when you need to double down, and like we all feel it. Like I can't slow down right now. Sales manager can't slow down. Media buyer, like we're on calls like for hours a day, just like talking about this stuff, like figuring out like what the next move is. Like you can't stop because like you never know how long you have. I have a friend who he's a talented kid, really smart guy, really good leader, like really good speaker. People love this guy. And he's got a program that has made people hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. BizOp. And he's killed it. He started back a couple years ago, and for a while he was doing anywhere between 300 and 500K a month with almost no marketing, only word of mouth. So what would happen was he did his first little launch, I guess, got a couple hundred people in there, and they start making, some of them are making, $10,000 to $30,000 a month. Some are making like over 80, some are making over 100. Like regular people, what I mean? Not a crazy. And they start just telling everyone they know, because it's like, dude, I don't know how this happened. I just joined this program. I started doing what this guy taught. I started making like tens of thousands a month. And so for like almost a year, didn't post on TikTok, didn't post on Instagram, didn't tweet, didn't post on YouTube, didn't do anything. Well, he would post on YouTube. It'd just be case studies of people making like, 50 grand a month in their first month or some stupid shit like that. I'll tell you what it is after. But yeah, and then like he didn't do anything. It was all word of mouth, doing 500K a month. And now obviously the leads, like people aren't, doing that as much as they were. And now he has to like be a marketer again, and he doesn't have to do that. He hasn't really had to work in like a year. And like he keeps saying like, dude, I wish I just like did this stuff. Like I wish I went all in when it was easy. Like I wish like when I was getting all that word of mouth, like if I took, if I'm getting basically free $500,000 a month and like throw 100 of that into ads, like what would happen? Or if I just like poured some gas on the fire and started making content, like what would have happened? Like would I have been doing 2 mil a month? You know what I mean? Like you have no idea what's possible.
You need to double down on
that
man.
Window is kind of gone. And again, like we talked about it, like organic has gotten much harder, nowhere near as easy to get attention as it was 2 years ago. And yeah, man, you really got to make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, man. That's a great point to finish up on. Well, dude, you're a fucking legend. This was so awesome. Such a great podcast. So random. So much different random shit. Hopefully we're getting back to America soon. So hopefully we can do like a big studio session next time in person, or just do something from like a balcony or some shit. Like a lot of my best podcasts are literally just like in a balcony.
Come to the penthouse. We can hang out on the little terrace in there.
Yeah, man.
We can go grab lunch or whatever, man. It was great. I appreciate the pod.